Welcome back to another episode of Hood Games. I'm your host, the 40-year-old gamer. Let's just get right into it, man. There was a couple games that caused a lot of controversy in the past, man. And I was fortunate enough to live through those times, even though they almost got video games banned completely. Like they had parents in the Senate teaming up together to try to ban video games for what, I don't know. But let's talk about the first game, man. And that first game is Miss Pac-Man, man. Miss Pac-Man came out in 1982 in the arcades, and it was a smash hit, inside of homes and stuff in the 80s, in the early 80s. And I don't know why it got so much controversy, but it did. And this one and a few other games like it, basically they tried to ban video games for it. I don't know why we even try to ban video games for games like this, but it happened, and I'ma just not even waste no more time, man. Without further ado, here go a clip from the controversy behind games like Miss Pac-Man in 1983.
The way officials tell it, Boston has become the victim of an electronic blight. With fewer than 600,000 people, the city has 4,000 to 5,000 video games, not just in arcades, but also in drugstores, pizza parlors, supermarkets.
In some sections of the city, we have a machine or two machines and sometimes three machines in virtually every single corner store in a neighborhood.
City officials today announced that video games no longer will be licensed in residential areas, only in commercial and industrial neighborhoods. Officials say they are responding to complaints from parents that children have skipped school or stolen money to play the games and made a nuisance of themselves.
Senior citizens have rights. They have rights to go into the laundromat and wash their laundry in peace. They don't have to go by 2 or 3 machines or kids congregating and passing fast remarks as they walk in and terrorizing them in some instances as they go in.
Under the new regulations, licenses for about half the video games already in Boston are unlikely to be renewed, including those in the basement of the South Boston Martial Arts Academy.
The reason we requested to have video games is so we could bring in extra money so we could allow those kids that are out in our neighborhoods that can't afford to come.
When they don't have something to do, when they're walking the streets, that's when problems are created, not because of machines. The lack of machines causes problems.
You're always talking about this demeaning making kids' minds like vegetables. Talk about them out on the streets smoking pot.
One MIT study of more than 800 video game players found no basis in fact for an underlying fear expressed by parents during public hearings that video games lead to violence. Though a conclusive study has yet to be conducted, Boston went ahead with its restrictive rules. The industry plans to fight City Hall in court. There have been skirmishes before as smaller communities acted, but now a full-scale battle has been joined between the video game industry and its opponents. Steve Young, CBS News.
All right, y'all back, man. Look, Miss Pac-Man for the Sega Genesis is one of the best Miss Pac-Mans to get, man, because the thing is, you can play 2 players at the same time on the same screen, and you also got a boost thing that you can use at any time at your will, and she'll go like 10 times faster than the Ghost, which makes the game a lot easier and a lot more fun, man. It's got like 36 levels, I believe, that you can beat, and it's a great game, man. For anybody that's, just looking for simple puzzle games or whatever, man, you want to, if you're looking for Miss Pac-Man, grab Miss Pac-Man on the Sega Genesis, man. It's the best one that I have played yet, even to this day, even out of the new Pac-Man that came out in the 2010 or 12 or whatever year that Pac-Man came out for the Xbox 360, this Pac-Man still is the best Pac-Man to play to me. That is Miss Pac-Man, which caused a lot of controversy, man. I don't know why, but it did. This one and other games like it. Alright, it's another Mortal Kombat 2, to me, was one of the best Mortal Kombat games for the Sega Genesis, and absolutely one of the hardest ones, man. If you can master Mortal Kombat 2 for the Sega Genesis, you can pretty much master them all, man, because Mortal Kombat 2 is very limited compared to the new Mortal Kombat today, you know, but the thing is Mortal Kombat 2 for the Sega Genesis was a great Mortal Kombat game in the early 90s. I think it came out in like 94, 93, 94, something like that. And I know it was in the mid 90s. I know that. And it was a great game from the first installment. You know, that was great as well. You know, I used to love going to the arcade and playing Mortal Kombat 1. And when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, let me tell you, man, it took a lot of quarters from me, man. But Mortal Kombat 2 was one of the best and one of the hardest games that I have ever played. Fighting games, man. Like, I see why so many people don't like Mortal Kombat, because it's really tough, especially on the Sega Genesis. It's real tough, you know. It's just as tough as the arcade, man, if not even tougher than the arcade. But yeah, man, let's get into a clip of Mortal Kombat 2 for the Sega Genesis and me getting my ass whooped, and why this game caused so much controversy to the point it almost got video games banned for good.
A fantasy martial arts game that some parents think is just too violent for their kids. Carol Lynn joins us live now from Northridge with more on that story. Carol?
Here it is, Bob, behind me. It's called Mortal Kombat, and we're going to talk to Aaron Brandis here about the game. Aaron, how does it work?
Well, basically, you pick a couple characters, you do maneuvers on the joysticks and buttons, you do moves, and
then what are you trying to get to? The fatality?
Nah, there's a master guy you got to beat at the end. Fatalities are just what happens if you're really brutal to your opponent. You get an opponent, you can rip off his head or something like that.
Sounds like a pretty thrilling game, and this is the kind of violence that critics are pretty worried about. Cold-blooded murder is making Mortal Kombat the most popular video game in history. Kids relish their victory and their bloody choice. Should they pull out their opponent's heart, or simply rip his head off just to see his spinal cord dangle in a pool of blood? How do you feel about cutting his head off? After a $10 million advertising campaign, Mortal Kombat, debuting in home video today, is expected to sell 2 million copies at $50 a pop. A horrifying possibility for parents who can't believe the game makers are fantasizing about decapitation and murder.
I don't think they'll have this at home, no.
You don't think so?
A little bit too violent.
You look a little startled.
Yeah, it's a little too violent, I think.
That's pretty bad. And that's just plain gross.
Furthermore, advanced technology allows digitized video of real martial arts actors, making the action look real and not as cartoony. In fact, Mortal Kombat so shocked the managers at a nationwide arcade chain that they tried a sanitized version of the game. Instead of chopping the opponent's head off, he simply disappears. Sales dropped 40%.
They came up and said, what'd you do to the game? It's no fun anymore.
Kids are saying chill out to worried parents.
I think TV, personally, influences more than a video game. A video game is a video game.
The bottom line, parents wonder if kids can separate fantasy from the real thing.
Wait until they get out in a situation where they're fighting, and then they'll think about this and try to make it real.
But you know, game makers are saying that games are going to become more visually violent and more sexually violent as adults buy more video games. I mean, it's a big money market, $50 to $60 a pop. Plus, some of the critics say, or they at least concede, that parents have to be there in order to pay for the game, so at least there's some discretion there. And game makers are also talking about a new rating system similar to the movies. We'll see what happens. I'm Carol Lynn reporting live from Northridge. Back to you.
It was so much controversy behind the first one, man, that, you know, I didn't even think they would even attempt to make a second one, man. But they did, man. And what made me, you know, a little upset is that Nintendo talked so much trash, you know, back then about Mortal Kombat 1 coming home for both consoles, the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. And basically, you know, Nintendo took the blood out and said that, you know, their system was kid-friendly and all this and that. Genesis kept the blood, and let me tell you, it tripled, quadrupled sales over Super Nintendo version. So when Part 2 came out, Part 2 was so dope that it was ridiculous for the Sega Genesis. But guess what? It's actually a little bit better on the Super Nintendo. Just a little bit better on the Super Nintendo graphically wise, but other than that, it's great on the Sega Genesis graphically wise, gameplay wise. You know, it's just like the arcade. You know, and the Super Nintendo jumped on the bandwagon this time when Mortal Kombat 2 came out. They put the blood in just as well as the Genesis. And because they did that, their sales, you know, they had more sales than the Sega Genesis because, you know, because of the graphics, basically. But let's check out this clip of me getting my motherfucking ass whooped.
Fight! Fight! Outstanding. Finish him. Fight! Outstanding. Fight! Fight. Finish him. Fight. 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 Outstanding.
All right. Thank y'all for watching, man. You know, I just had to really talk about that. You know, like why. You know, like I don't understand that. Like they used to say things like, you know, if they do it in a video game, they're gonna do it in real life. And I never thought that to be true. Even though me and my wife one day we bought a 50 Cent game called I don't know what it was called, but we bought it for my son, and at the time he was only like 13 years old. And you know, we let him pick out the game. He got the game. Man, when we seen this game the next day, man, he had learned how to play it. And man, this game was so dang on violent and bloody. To me, it put Grand Theft Auto to shame. All I know is it was a 50 Cent game for the PlayStation 2. And I don't know what it was called, man, but all I know is that it was a very violent game to the point that was the first and the only game that we had to take back to the store because the game was too violent for my son to be playing, because it was showing like really like up close scenes of people getting their head blown off, and it looked realistically, man. We just wanted to, when we took it back, he was upset about it, but we explained it to him, and we just, you know, basically wanted him to tell us the difference between, you know, video games and reality. And, you know, once he told us the difference and he understood the difference, that's when we got him Grand Theft Auto 3, you know, and so on and so forth. And he's been playing games ever since. But anyways, if y'all like the video, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment at the bottom, and until next time, y'all too damn old to be playing video games. We just wanted to, when we took it back, he was upset about it, but we explained it to him, and we just, you know, basically wanted him to tell us the difference between, you know, video games and reality. And, you know, once he told us the difference and he understood the difference, that's when we got him Grand Theft Auto 3, you know, and so on and so forth. And he's been playing games ever since. But anyways, if y'all like the video, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment at the bottom, and until next time, y'all too damn old to be playing video games.